Today's topic is my puzzlement as to why the Indian Supreme Court appointed a panel to look into the workings of the Adani Group. Yesterday, I had talked about the wrong interpretation of the panel's report, and today I want to ask my learned friends who know these things better than I do as to why the Supreme Court appointed such a panel in the first place. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not sure as to how the law works in this regard. And I've lived outside India for quite some time, so I'm not sure exactly as to what the Supreme Court in India does and why. But as an economist, I'm puzzled by what the Supreme Court did. And I hope that my learned friends, people who know much more than me, will help me understand why the court did what it did. My first issue is why did the Supreme Court appoint a panel when the Supreme Court is usually a body that issues judgments, not a body that investigates? Investigation is usually done by the police or the regulator or some other executive branch agency. They look at the issue, they make a case, and they bring it up to a court. Or the court may itself, I guess, sometimes take notice of something and create a case. But what's the case? There's no case against Adani anywhere. The Hindenburg report, and again, as I said last time, it's more the Hindenburg bet that's important, not the report, did not come from any recognized authority. It did not come from a think tank. It did not come from an established government or international agency. So, why should the Indian Supreme Court take notice of a report issued by a profit making firm with a view to increasing its profits? It's a foreign company trying to increase its own profits and it issues a self serving report so that it makes a bigger profit. And it has nothing to do in India. So, why should India's Supreme Court even bother with such a report? I mean, if I live outside India and I issue a report, will the Supreme Court look into that too? No. But what's the difference between Hindenburg and me? Hindenburg is just one another company that's looking to make profit. So why should we look into what this report says? Why should the Supreme Court, which is got so many pressing issues before it, appoint such an expert panel to look into charges from an agency, a company that has no standing whatsoever in public terms? I'm just puzzled as to why it is worth looking into such a report. And even if it is worth looking into such a report, don't we have an investigative regulatory body called SEBI, 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 to do this? Why don't we wait for a report from SEBI which says that, listen, there is a case or there isn't a case? And then the court can issue a judgment about whatever it is that the investigative authority finds. So I'm just puzzled as to what is the logic for a Supreme Court to, on its own, investigate a financial matter started by a company outside India for its own profit making purposes. I'm puzzled. Is it even appropriate for a court, a Supreme Court that is quite busy otherwise? So I hope some lawyers and legal experts will answer this question. Second but related question is, suppose this panel had said that, look, we think that there is one problem with what the Adani Group did. And I don't know what that problem could be, but suppose they had said that there is a problem and we think that there's some wrongdoing here. What would the Supreme Court do with such a report? I'm puzzled. Would they say, hey, listen, take this to SEBI and ask them to investigate it further? In that case, the Supreme Court just becomes an advisory body to SEBI. But that's not what a Supreme Court is. And if the Supreme Court doesn't give to SEBI, does it set up its own case against Adani? A case in which it is going to issue a judgment? You can't do that. You can't be the investigator and the judge at the same time. So I'm just puzzled as to what the Supreme Court would do in case the panel found some wrongdoing, some mistake, something that they said isn't the right thing that the Adani Group did. I hope somebody will answer these questions. I have thought long and hard about it, but I cannot find the answers. That's it for today. I'll be back with another topic next time. Till then, bye.